So we're about to take out a Torah, and we've got us, what's that word for 10 people? It sounds a lot like minion. What is it? Minion, that's it. That's it. It's a minion. So we've got us a minion. We're going to read from Torah, but it's a special one. It's got a few things in it. Let me tell you a little bit about it. It starts off with, hallelujah, we're free. And God tells Moses, you know what I'm going to do? Because God sort of has a hand in history. God tells Moses, that ruler of Egypt, that is a selfish man. And even though Egypt seems to be prosperous, he does some really cruel things. And he's going to do he's going to change his mind about letting you guys out. And when you have a really bad ruler, the people suffer. And so the Jews, we're hallelujah, hallelujah, and Pharaoh says, why do we do this? Let's go get him. And so he starts chasing after us, and we're like stuck up against the sea. We can't get out. And so the presence of God, which had led us by pillar of fire, by cloud of a pillar of a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, shifted to being in front of us, to being behind us, to defend us from Pharaoh's army, which was coming. And we're all panicking. What are we going to do? We're stuck at the sea. We're stuck at the sea. And Moses prays to God, and God says, why are you praying to me? Why are you doing that? It wasn't until a guy named Nachshon, his dad was Aminadab, starts walking into the water, that the waters part. Moses leads everyone through on dry land. And then when we get through, the Egyptians start to run after us, and Moses puts his arms down in the waters. God makes the waters come back together. A powerful moment, a moment that says that freedom is more powerful than any ruler. A moment that inspired every moment of liberation that we know of since then. But a sad moment nonetheless, because people suffered. People suffered because of the greed of the leader. And we found a moment to rejoice. We danced. We rejoiced because we were free after hundreds of years. We sang the Micha Mocha song. And then afterwards, Miriam sang another song as well, and she led all the women with her tambourine and dancing and singing. Now we're in the desert. Hallelujah, we're free, free, free. Hey, hey, hey. And God led us not the quickest way to Israel, because there were some skirmishes going on there with the people in the land, with the Philistines and such. And God said, well, maybe the Israelites, us, got scared and we want to go back to Egypt. So God kind of led us a roundabout route. And there was a place we went to and the waters were sour and people were really scared, because when you're in the desert and you ain't got fresh water, that's a problem. And there's this miracle where God told Moses to do some stuff with a stick in the water, and the water became clear and wonderful to drink. And then, all right, so here is a trick question. Well, it's not a trick question. Jews are the very first people in the world to order time in 7-day units that we call a week. No one else did it. Why do we order time in a 7-day unit? Why is that important? It's not like a month. A month is like the moon, like a month. It's not like a year where you go around the sun. What's so important about a 7-day unit? Yes, Daniel. To remember Shabbat. When was Shabbat first given to the Jews? And this is an important question, but a hard one. Does anyone know when we first got Shabbat? Does anybody know? I'm hearing 10 Commandments back and forth. I'm hearing 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments, it does say in the 10 Commandments in both the one in Exodus and in Deuteronomy. It says, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. And then in Deuteronomy it says, observe the Sabbath day, shamor et HaShabbat. Like, keep the Sabbath, which are two really important things, but that's not the first time we were given Shabbat. Did Noah know about Shabbat? God created the heaven and the earth, right? So maybe Adam knew about it because, right, God rested after Adam was created, but Adam didn't really know to celebrate it because Adam's descendants didn't really, otherwise we'd all be celebrating Shabbat. Did Noah know Shabbat? No way. Did Abraham know Shabbat, the first Jew? No. Did Isaac and his wife Rebekah? Nope. And it's not the Ten Commandments. It's just before the Ten Commandments. It's in this week's Torah portion. What we were given is right after the water, the fresh water we were given. We said, we're hungry, because guess what? We were. Even though we were really, really good at complaining, this was a valid complaint that we had, that we were hungry. And God says, I'm going to make the most wonderful food that the world has ever known appear on the ground. We'll call it manna. Manna on the ground. And they say it tasted like bread, it tasted like honey, it tasted like the most wonderful thing that you ever wanted, and it tasted different whenever you tasted it. So you never got tired of it. And there was enough manna for everyone to collect. And on Friday, there'd be twice as much manna there. Twice as much. You collect twice as much, because on Saturday it will all disappear. You can't collect any on Saturday, because Saturday is Shabbat. And anyone who collected more manna than they needed, it rotted. It turned horrible and stinky that next day. It sort of teaches us, don't be greedy, don't take more than we need. Except for on Shabbat. You have to take double on Friday. And that, with the giving of the manna, was the very first time that we were told about Shabbat. Take double on Friday so that you have enough for Saturday. And that's before we've got, well, it's just a few days before. Like next week we have the Ten Commandments. 50 days from Red Sea till Mount Sinai. That's why we have Passover, and 50 days later we have Shavuot, the giving of the Ten Commandments. But in that time we had Shabbat, which is a pretty awesome gift. And we have it right now, even. And we're going to read from Torah, which means we need to get us a gabbai. Do you see the way Terry Perry is looking down in the books that no one will look at her? Do you see the way she's doing that? With that smile on her face? How many of you have ever seen a little kid that figures that if they go like this, they're invisible and no one sees them? Anyone ever seen that? Sometimes you outgrow it. Terry hasn't quite outgrown it. No, Terry doesn't have to be Gabbai. Who would like to be Gabbai? Gabbai, you are the person of blessing that bestows the blessing on the Aliyah.